Manifest destiny was a 19th century belief that it was America's destiny to expand its territory from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. It was a belief that helped to fuel America's westward expansion, which saw the acquisition of new territories such as Texas, California, and Oregon, and it played a significant role in shaping the history of the United States. While it led to the acquisition of new territories and the development of new industries, it also had negative effects on the indigenous peoples and the environment. The legacy of Manifest Destiny continues to shape American society today, and it serves as a reminder of the complex and sometimes contentious nature of American history. Manifest Destiny was fueled by a range of factors, including economic interest, political ideologies, and social and cultural beliefs. As the population of the United States grew, the need for more space and resources became apparent, and that could be found in the West. There was also a belief in America's cultural and racial superiority, which led to a desire to spread American values and institutions. Many Americans believed that it was their God-given mission to expand and settle the Western territories. Westward expansion occurred in a variety of ways, including through the acquisition of new territories, the settlement of new areas, and the displacement of indigenous peoples. The Louisiana Purchase of 1803, the Texas Annexation in 1845, and the Mexican-American War and Treaty of Oregon in 1846 were four key events that led to the acquisition of new territories in the West. In 1803, the United States added approximately 828,000 square miles of land in a deal between the United States and France, in which the U.S. nearly doubled its territory. The Louisiana Purchase included land that stretched from the Mississippi River in the east to the Rocky Mountains in the west, and from the Gulf of Mexico in the south to the Canadian border in the north. It included parts of 15 present-day U.S. states, including Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Minnesota, Louisiana, Texas, and New Mexico. The Louisiana Purchase was a significant achievement for President Thomas Jefferson, who had long envisioned westward expansion as essential to the growth of the United States. The Purchase effectively doubled the size of the country and provided vast new territories for westward expansion and settlement. The Louisiana Purchase also paved the way for the Lewis and Clark expedition, which explored the newly acquired territory and documented the people, animals, and plants of the region. The fight for Texas independence began in 1835. Texas was then part of Mexico, and many American settlers had moved into Texas in the 1820s seeking cheap land and a chance for a better life. However, as Mexico became more authoritarian and began to restrict the rights of the settlers, tensions grew between the Mexican government and the Texas settlers. After a series of battles, the Texans declared their independence from Mexico in 1836 and established the Republic of Texas. Texas initially sought annexation to the United States in the 1830s, but was rebuffed due to concerns about slavery and the balance of power between free and slave states. However, by the early 1840s, political support for annexation had grown in the United States, and in 1845, Texas was admitted as the 28th state of the Union. The Mexican-American War of 1846 to 1848 was a conflict between the United States and Mexico that resulted in the acquisition of significant territory in the Southwest. The war was sparked by a dispute over the border between Texas and Mexico. Some of the key battles of the war included the Battle of Palo Alto, the Siege of Veracruz, and the Battle of Cerro Gordo. And under the terms of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, Mexico ceded a large amount of territory to the United States that included California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and parts of Colorado, New Mexico, and Wyoming. It opened up new areas for settlement and economic development, particularly in the mining and ranching industries, and it helped to establish the United States as a dominant world power as it extended the nation's influence and control over a vast area of North America. The United States obtained Oregon through a combination of diplomatic negotiations, settlement, and military force. The region known as Oregon County was a disputed territory between the United States and Great Britain, with both countries claiming it as their own. In the 1840s, American settlers began to arrive in large numbers, drawn by the promise of free land and opportunities for a better life. These settlers established provisional governments and began advocating for American control of the region. In 1846, the United States and Great Britain signed the Treaty of Oregon, which established the boundary between the two countries at the 49th parallel. The acquisition of Oregon was seen as a major victory for American expansionism and helped solidify the country's hold on the West. The settlement of new areas was often driven by government incentives, such as the Donation Land Claim Act of 1850. The United States government granted free acreage to settlers who were willing to live on and improve the land in Oregon Territory. The law was enacted to encourage settlement in the Pacific Northwest and to strengthen American claims to the region. Under the terms of the act, a single man over the age of 18 was eligible to receive 320 acres of land, and a married couple was eligible to receive 640 acres. To qualify for the grants, settlers had to live on and improve the homestead for at least 4 years, and the land was free of cost except for a small administration fee. The Donation Land Claim Act was very popular, and thousands of settlers took advantage of the opportunity to claim free land in the Oregon Territory. Many of these settlers were farmers who were attracted to the fertile soil and temperate climate of the Pacific Northwest. They and their families traversed the 2,000-mile Oregon Trail from Independence, Missouri to Oregon City, Oregon to start new lives. They built homes, cleared lands, and established farms and businesses, helping to develop the region's economy and infrastructure. But Manifest Destiny was not without its critics, who saw it as an excuse for American imperialism and the forced annexation of new territories. The acquisition of new territories through war and diplomacy led to conflicts with Native American tribes and the displacement and forced removal of many indigenous peoples. Manifest Destiny also played a role in shaping American attitudes towards race, culture, and national identity. It helped to solidify the idea of a singular American identity, one that was based on westward expansion, rugged individualism, and a sense of national destiny. This identity was in opposition to other cultures such as Native American, Mexican, and Chinese, which were seen as inferior or threatening to American values. It also fueled tensions and debates over the expansion of slavery between different groups and regions. The North and South had different economic systems, with the North being more industrialized and the South relying heavily on agriculture and slave labor. The Democratic Party was largely pro-slavery, while the newly formed Republican Party was opposed to the expansion of slavery. The expansion of slavery into new territories brought up questions about the balance of power between the North and the South in Congress. Southern states feared that if new states were admitted as free states, the balance of power would shift against them. Abolitionists and other activists were deeply opposed to the expansion of slavery on moral and ethical grounds, arguing that it was a violation of human rights and dignity. These tensions and debates eventually led to the outbreak of the Civil War in 1861, which was fought largely over the issue of slavery and its expansion. Westward expansion was a defining characteristic of American history as the United States grew from a small group of colonies to a vast and powerful nation that spanned from coast to coast. It had a profound impact on American society and culture. Manifest Destiny was part of a broader colonial mindset that viewed non-European cultures and peoples as inferior and in need of civilizing. Remembering this legacy can help us understand ongoing issues related to racism, inequality, and imperialism in the United States and around the world. I'm Julian Gower, and this is Inspecting History. Thanks for joining me today. If you love history, be sure to check out my channel. We explore history like we did today, as well as visit historical sites to see what they can teach us.